Good afternoon, party people in the house. What's up? It's Biggs. It's Chev. It is Player Profiler today for Friday, October 25th, except it's October 26th. Once again, we're coming to you day late. We were just talking pre-show and I started going off on like my life story and everything because I'm a talker. And I saw the clock. It was 1:12. We had agreed on 1, and I felt really bad about, oh, we're 12 minutes late. No, we're like
We're
22
like,
hours late.
so I'm responsible for the first 22 hours. Uh, you can have the 12 minutes. I'll allow you to have the 12 minutes.
I I appreciate it. All right, so today what we're going to talk about is our Week 8 schedule. We did have a barn burner of a game, Minnesota and the LA Rams, and somehow Minnesota. Uh, I don't know. Somebody called last week. Somebody called Minnesota losing
Yeah.
because they were 5-0. So it's time for them to lose. Detroit beat them on Sunday, and then LA beat them on Thursday. Who was that called that?
It's two thumbs and this guy.
That guy. Yeah. So Chev had it right. I had it wrong, and I will always own it. I'm never wrong, just early or late. And on this one, I was both. Um, also, there was another call that Chev made was Stefan versus Jair, and that got fun.
Yeah. Stephon and Jair hate week is going to be a thing moving forward. Like, the NFL's got a better handle on how to just, like, all right, we're not going to kick them out or fine them per se, but like, let's just keep it right below like a street fight.
Yeah, it's this generation's Aqib Talib, Michael Crabtree.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah,
And then sure, like Richard Sherman inherited it, and it got even better.
yeah. I my buddy Sean and Richard Sherman, same energy. All right, so we have some top stories. One of them relates to fantasy football. You guys might notice that in the thumbnail, I put in Jordan Love. That's because Jordan Love has the best matchup on paper this week as a quarterback. The Green Bay Packers are refreshing. They're refreshing. The Green Bay Packers are playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who allow the most points to quarterbacks, second most to wide receivers, and third most to tight ends. So everybody in fantasy, Green Bay is a smash this week. But Jacksonville is also on the way back. You have Trevor Lawrence, who leads the NFL in catchable balls thrown in the red zone with a
Imagine,
50% catch rate.
yeah,
So he's been playing great. And one of the reasons the Jacksonville Jaguars are not good is because he hasn't been helped out by his wide receivers
at all,
at
at
all.
all. Like
At
it's just,
all.
it's frustrating because it's like, all right, man. Well, you've got like first round capital Brian Thomas. You got big, your highest paid receiver Christian Kirk. You got your big free agent signing in Gabe Davis, and then you've got Evan Ingram. Like, this should be a smash. And then Travis Etienne can catch passes if he's going to play or whatever. Who knows
Yeah,
what he's doing? I don't know what he's doing, but like, and then you got Tank Bit. Like, this offense should be good. There's no
should
reason
be.
why this offense should not be good. I
Right.
don't know if it's a Press Taylor thing. I don't know if it's just like these guys, like, they need some stick 'em, like in Little Giants, and they like, I don't
Lester
know.
Hayes, my favorite player.
Like, it's been way worse than it should be. And Trevor Lawrence, as much as I like to clown him, he's not playing bad football at all.
Right.
So
Yeah. Now, I know you guys are going, well, Jacksonville, how can that be a top story? It's not the top story, but there's a chance that Foye Olakun gets back in the game. And if he does, then that defense is right on track to pick up where they left off last year. That dude's a stud. So with Evan Ingram back in the mix, with Foye Olakun back in the mix, we could see a run from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're not out of it.
they're not
Now,
totally out of it yet at all.
no, and they're one team that actually is out of it. Sadly for you, Chev, just traded away their marquee wide receiver to the Chiefs, and that's DeAndre Nuke Hopkins.
Yeah, we
Uh,
also traded D'Ernest, or not D'Ernest, but Ernest Jones to the Seahawks earlier this week too. Super cool stuff. Love that. Love.
oh, I didn't they just get him?
Yes, we got him for a 5th round pick and traded him for, I believe, a 4th round pick and Jerome Baker.
Didn't he come from the Seahawks?
He came from the Rams.
From the That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
So when I saw the trade news, I thought it was just an old recycled story from when they originally picked him up. I didn't catch. I glanced at it. I didn't catch that he was gone. Oh, okay. So they're in
There's
give
no
up
reason for
mode.
you to be paying close attention to the Titans other than just to like laugh and commiserate with me.
So okay, well then now we have two takes. Our top story is the Tennessee Titans. Everybody, two takes. Number one, what do you think about Nuke going to Kansas City?
I mean, it should be a hand in glove fit, to be totally honest with you. It should be a smash. If he is who we thought he still might be, like it should be a smash. I mean, however, the problem is he like his highest route participation was like, if I'm not mistaken, week 4 against the Dolphins, he ran like 50% of the routes. Like 50, I want to say like 52. And that's been his highest route participation. I don't know if it's the knee injury still kind of bothering him. I don't know if Father Time is catching up. D-Hop seems to be one of those guys that doesn't really have to create a ton of separation or use speed. He's just kind of got a savvy space feel, and he's one of the greatest contested catch wide receivers of our generation. So it should be a smash because replacing him with Juju, no matter what planet you live on, is an upgrade. I mean, replacing Juju with him.
Right.
So it should work. And he
Okay.
should immediately earn targets.
Now, in a more important take, what does this mean for Treylon Burks?
See, hey, here we are. That's where I wanted to go. He's actually on IR, so
I know.
it will not benefit him for at least the next 3 weeks. But you're telling me there's a chance.
Right. There are 3 people in this world who very closely follow Treylon Burks. That's me, Chev, and Tyler from Fantasy Football Advice Network. Just because when you watch his streams, he's got a Burks jersey behind him.
Yeah.
Woo Pig Suey. All right. So then a little bit more relevant, but less that I care about. What does it mean for Calvin Ridley? Is he finally gonna become what everybody thought he would, or is the Tennessee quarterback situation just so dire that nobody's doing anything?
It's abysmal. I mean, you're hoping that. I mean, he's got 17 targets over the last 2 weeks, and he's turned that into like 4 catches, 5 catches. What was it? Like, I think no, it was 4. It's 4 catches over the last 2 weeks on 17 targets. Like, this is not going to be a winning situation for him. Like, this is just, I don't know if it's just not, it's just he can't get on the same page with Mason Rudolph, which I can't really blame you. Will Levis is a walking meme with the decision making of, I don't know. Like, I can't find a comp bad enough for how bad Will Levis is at decision making as a quarterback. So I'm hoping that we just, go 3-14 and draft Cam Ward, but that would be way too much good luck for me. So we'll probably find a way to struggle to win like 6 games and miss out on all the really good quarterbacks and get stuck with like Carson Beck. That's my portion. Hey, I'm still here. So I'm going to filibuster for a little bit. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Week 8. Let's talk about it a little bit. No thanks. Early game windows. Where'd you go? There we are. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
So that was cool. My whole system just crashed.
Yeah, love that. Love that when that happens.
And I can't. Hang on, everybody.
Technical difficulty.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this is we're doing. Hey, sometimes technology. Also,
maybe I can hear you now. Nope.
Still nothing.
All right. I'll be back.
Okay. So while Biggs is figuring out what's going on with his setup, things do happen. Skynet sometimes takes over. Shout out to Elon Musk for propagating that into being a real thing. Like, did we learn nothing from Terminator? Nothing? Just nothing? Like, what are we doing? We're so essentially we're here to do game previews, but I'm not going to advance without Biggs here. So what you'll get to do is hear my thoughts on what's going to happen this week. And I'll start with the Thursday Night Football review. More or less, the refs put the fix in. I got it right somehow or another, but the refs put the fix in for the Rams. When 90% of the money is on something, then just go the other way. And that's pretty much what happened, like as evidenced by that call. Can you hear me, bud?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, we're good. My system is going through a full reboot. Yay!
So I always reset. I told you my laptop's old, right? So I'll always automatically restart my computer before we do any of the episodes because of the first time when my computer just randomly cut off. So
yeah, I did. I restarted it and then set up the thumbnail and all that stuff, and still boom. All right, but I'm back.
Yeah, Skynet.
I got your hot takes right here. Hot takes. Come and get them. All right.
Bring it.
So we were talking about Tennessee, and hopefully you got through all that. And then I was going to talk about Miami. Bienvenidos a Miami. Tua back.
Yes.
That means Tyreek back.
Yes.
Go ahead and what is your assessment of the Miami Dolphins situation?
So on the Two Guys One Pod show, I did make Tua my start of the week. There's only two ways this goes. Either Tua lights this up. I mean, the Cardinals have been one of the worst pass defenses. I think they've allowed the 6th most passing yards, and over the last 3 weeks, they've allowed the 5th most passing touchdowns. And it's a Pacific Coast or Pacific time zone team traveling to the East Coast for a noon kickoff. It's burned into my brain that teams play poorly when that happens. And the Cardinals have already shown us that just going to the Central time zone, it didn't go well for them. So I really, really like the Dolphins to smash and all of their guys to get home this week from a fantasy perspective. I think Tua is going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks this week. And I think this is kind of going to kick off like us seeing what we thought we would see from the Dolphins in 2024. They just haven't been very good. Even like against Jacksonville, he finished at QB9, but even still, like it wasn't very good. So I think we get like the full Dolphin experience tomorrow against the defense, and the Cardinals is just not going to be able to like stop them at all.
I also have both Tyreek and Tua pushed up my Fantasy Pros rankings. So yes, I am on your page.
Yes.
All right.
What could go wrong?
Lots, because I haven't been doing so hot on Underdog. Although the other day I smashed 4 for 4 in NBA props.
Nice.
We'll see how tonight goes. I'm going to bounce out real quick because my system is back, and I will be right back with y'all. Hang on.
I'll talk about Tua for. So essentially, the Dolphins have been a major disappointment as far as what we were expecting from a fantasy perspective. I think Tyreek's got 24 catches for 294 yards, and he's only scored once. Granted, that first week against the Jaguars, yes, one of the most historically bad pass defenses we've seen through 7 weeks. He missed Tyreek on Tua missed Tyreek on what would have been another 80-yard touchdown. So that game gets blown open. Obviously, the Travis Etienne fumble was what broke that open. But, yeah, I think the Dolphins are going to absolutely smash this week. So start your Dolphins. Tua is my start of the week. You're welcome. All right. As Biggs is getting
I think we're fully functional and ready to go. All right.
Bring it. You there? Can you hear me? This is riveting podcast stuff. So while we're getting set back up, I'll say on the Cardinal side of the ball, this is not a great matchup for Marvin Harrison and Kyler Murray. It's just, the Dolphins have allowed less than 1,000 passing yards. Part of it, I think, is the fact that they've been run on quite a bit because teams are just in clock killing mode because the Dolphins had no semblance of an offense whatsoever. I would say that Kyler Murray is more of a back-end QB1. He's had 3 monster performances and then 4 other ones that were just meh or bad. I think he's been outside of QB 15 in those 4 bad performances. And then last week was I won't even say it was decent. It was okay. And then he got the 64 yards and a rushing touchdown. So that boosted him into the top 5. But, he has not been – I thought he had a chance, like an outside chance to be like a top 2 or top 3 QB. But it just hadn't worked out that way so far. But, he's QB 7. So you can't be too upset. But at the same time, nobody – I kind of expected what Jaden Daniels is doing to happen for Kyler.
Right. Less the injury. Right. Now, it is a game that if you're in fantasy football, and don't be afraid of James Conner this week.
No, not at all.
He should have ample opportunity to run. The Miami Dolphins funnel the run more than any team to the tune of 50% or 85% rush yards to pass yards. However, it's one of the worst defensive backfield matchups. Anybody who follows me on Twitter saw my sit Marvin Harrison Jr. video go out this morning. So that's my big call.
I don't blame you at all.
All right.
He's been disappointing. The usage. I know you love Drew Petzing, but this is they're just not giving him any sort of layup, easy targets. It's like, hey man, go be Calvin Johnson, and that's a rough ask of anybody not named Calvin Johnson. So.
Yeah. In addition to that, he's got the whole short quarterback syndrome that has recently caught up to Bryce Young. We'll see how that works out this week. And then, and a lot of people are saying Kyler Murray can't see over that offensive line, so he's got to get out in space. Yeah, he's got to move out and throw the ball on the run and stuff. And if you cut that down, defenses have figured it out. You bottle him up and don't give him anywhere to go. He can't escape the pocket. There's not really a whole lot that he can do. He can't stand in the pocket at 6'4" and drop bombs over the middle.
No,
he's got to get out.
Yeah, no, they can't throw. Him, Russ, Bryce Young. There are very few quarterbacks 6 foot and under that are going to be able to have a whole ton of success. Inside, operating from within the pocket. It's just, it's math. If your center is 6'5", if your guards are 6'4", and you're 5'10", you're going to be staring at the back of their helmet instead of looking in that void between linebacker, safety, and being able to throw the ball in there. You're throwing to a spot and hoping that it's open, which is that's not a formula for success. So why wouldn't you try to get outside the pocket? I don't blame Kyler Murray. It's just that's what he was gifted with. Now, he's one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, but it's just you're not going to be able to throw the ball that well over the middle from the pocket. It's just, because you can't see where the ball's going.
Yeah, that's, maybe he should have stuck with baseball. He was drafted by the Oakland A's, but he decided to go to Oklahoma and be a quarterback. I think it was Oklahoma. Anyway, we've got other stories coming at you. You'll notice on the thumbnail, I did put Javonte Williams simply because he has the best running back matchup of the week. He is a smash this week against Carolina. But let's get to the games, and all of the other things will work themselves out. Let's hear from Matt Kelly real quick, and then we will see you guys on the other side, and we'll talk about all the games. Let's do this one.
Oh, every week I'm answering these start sit questions on Sunday morning. I go to the weekly rankings on playerprofiler.com just to make sure that my instincts are correct, and sometimes they're not. And guess what? More often than not, I go with the projections. You may not feel great about starting Daniel Jones or Wan'Dale Robinson, but the projections say, hey, that's the move. It may not feel right, but you use those projections to get it right. That's the power of the Player Profiler system. It's Evan Ringler, it's Bradley Stalder, it's Theo Greminger, of course, it's Billy Muzio making these rankings possible. The season rankings, so you know who to pick up, who to trade for. The dynasty rankings are part of this. The offensive line rankings from Dan Fornick, one of the best in the business. Then we get our cornerback rankings, which show which corners are matched up with which wide receivers. And now, in collaboration with the IDP show, we have IDP rankings. Did you know that? Did you? So go to playerprofiler.com, use promo code PODFATHER, get you 25% off the player rankings package right now at playerprofiler.com. Enjoy!
Now, sometimes advertisements get dated real quick, and it's obvious that Matt recorded that shortly after week 5, maybe shortly after week 6, because Daniel Jones and Wan'Dale Robinson haven't done anything in a couple weeks, but maybe they will. Maybe you got to find it. And
so let me ask you this: is Daniel Jones turning back into a pumpkin? Please say yes.
No, but good Halloween theme. All right. I don't think so. He is what he's always been. He has very good upside. He can run the ball, makes questionable decisions often. If things go right for him, he can spike. When things go wrong, especially on that offensive line, and he is among the lead leaguers in taking sacks, then it goes bad. So you have 32-point weeks, you have 8-point weeks, and that's just Daniel Jones. You just kind of have to ride the highs and the lows. Back into a pumpkin? No, simply because he's always been a pumpkin.
Okay. All right. Okay. You took me on a roller coaster ride there. I thought I had a Daniel Jones believer, and I was like, we need to talk about this a lot. So my thing with Daniel Jones is this: if you create the perfect environment for him, which for the most part Dable had done, like the offensive line was healthy again. Now there's no Andrew Thomas. Like teams are starting to adapt to the fact that you have to treat Malik Nabers like an elite alpha wide receiver, and there's no other real option in the offense. Like, I'm getting so keyed up because this is going, like, I need them to be just good enough to still believe in Daniel Jones, but also bad enough to be like, just the frustration of having an elite alpha, just nuclear omega level talent in Malik Nabers being shuttled and shunned because of horrific quarterback play.
Yeah. And you also have like the Theo Johnson, at some point he could be a top 10 tight end, but is he ever going to see
but
that?
It's never going to happen with Daniel Jones. Yeah, it's never going to happen with Daniel Jones.
And I think pumpkin is the most apt metaphor for Daniel Jones, because sometimes he's just squishy and gross, and other times he lights the porch. All right. Let's get to these matchups. The first one is the 5-2 Baltimore Ravens. We've talked about this before. One of the front runners for AFC title. We got the Chiefs, we got the Bills, we got the Ravens. That's pretty much what everybody is focused on. And then Jamie Pirog's Cleveland Browns at 1-6, and that gives us some of the some of the top news of the day. Deshaun Watson done, and Jameis Winston is the quarterback. Didn't get into the game last week because of Dorian Thompson Robinson. DTR, whatever. I don't remember.
Right. Let's just go with DTR until he does something cool that makes us worthy of mentioning him.
It's a long name. But David Njoku is a smash. So for the Ravens, we have Rasheen Ali out, obviously. Keaton Mitchell out still. Get back soon, Keaton. TJ Tampa, doubtful is Marlon Humphrey. Questionable Zay Flowers, Travis Jones, Jalen Amore Davis, and Nate Wiggins. Sorry, Jamie. You are correct. You were probably paying closer attention to the Browns than I was. You were probably paying closer attention to the Browns than I was paying attention to the Raiders, frankly. And then for the Browns, we have Jerome Ford out, Jedrick Wills out, Jordan Hicks out, Ronnie Hickman Jr. out, and Wyatt Teller questionable. Easy road for the Ravens, we figure.
It should be, but division games are weird. Like, this was the one game that gave people hope on Deshaun Watson last year. This was the Browns won that game, and Deshaun Watson gave us the glimpses of Houston Texans Deshaun Watson. I think that the Ravens are going to win, but that 8.5 number that's a big number, especially for a division game. Like, but also they've got the X factor is Derrick Henry, and also he's leading the league in every meaningful statistical category. And the Browns have not been very good against. They haven't been horrible, but they haven't been very good on like a per carry basis against running backs. And I could also see this with Derrick Henry just absolutely going ballistic again. So,
yeah, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, status quo.
It's just so. My question to you would be, like, which we're obviously in agreement that the Ravens are going to win the game, but is it because they absolutely just ground and pound them, or is it because they decide to open it up? Like, Cleveland might get an early score or something. They have to open it up, throw the ball a little bit more, and Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, if he's not on like a snap count and just kind of a decoy, like, that's the way that they get home.
Well, I feel like it's going to be more of a ball control, Baltimore creating more offensive opportunities for themselves with Derrick Henry. Cleveland's pass defense is kind of underrated. That might be because teams aren't necessarily having to throw the ball because Cleveland can't score a whole lot, but they do allow fewer yards on average per game than other teams, and they funnel the rush pretty heavily. So I think it's going to be a lot of Derrick Henry. I feel like the 26.5 on Vegas's total for the Ravens. I think they're going over that. I whether Cleveland gets to their 18, I don't know. but
I have more hope. I have more hope than I would have had in any other week.
I can see it 34-6, 34-9, something like that. Jamie thinks 54-3. So yeah, I don't think the Ravens are gonna. I think they're gonna control the ball a little bit more than to put up numbers like that, just because of Derrick Henry. If Derrick Henry was hurt and they didn't have much in the running back room, I think 54 they could easily handle.
He's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's single season record.
Yeah, which is crazy.
I love that so much. Like, so in all honesty, Derrick Henry's probably my favorite Titan of all time outside of Javon Curse. And Jeff Simmons is up there now too. But I was so happy to see him go to the Ravens because I was like, this is going to like if he was going to Dallas, I'd have been pissed. But like him going to the Ravens was like perfect back, perfect system. Mm-hmm. Let's just see how this goes. And it has gone. I wish I wasn't such an idiot and listened to other people and just go with my first mind on my best ball teams and just smashed him in the second round every single time.
Yeah, that's I have a few Lamar Derrick stacks on the underdog. Haven't checked him in a few weeks, but I'm pretty sure I'm in I'm in good shape. All right, Jamie thinks that Jerry Jeudy might be a sleeper play. Top 20 in air yards, and Ravens allow one of the highest ADOTs. I wonder what happens if you take away the Raiders game, what they do with ADOT allowed. And also Marlon Humphrey is probably not going to play. So yeah, it could be a sneaky Jerry Jeudy game. It could be a very sneaky Cedric Tillman game. Could be a sneaky Elijah Moore game. It's likely going to be a nice Njoku game.
Well, it's definitely going to be a nice Njoku game. It's pick your poison. I personally I'd bet on Cedric Tillman. I love how physical he plays and the way that he plays the receiver position. I do have one hard and fast rule in fantasy, and it is never Jerry Jeudy, no matter what, not even if there's a fire. So you guys can pack those bags with Jerry Jeudy if you want. I'm going to leave mine at the door.
Same. Yeah, I didn't even, I was excited in the draft when the Raiders passed on him and CeeDee Lamb. That was a mistake, but you know, Henry Ruggs was he was supposed to be a good fit for that offense. Well, I remember
the Gruden offense, and then we don't have to get into why.
No, but I remember where I was when I got the news. I had just gone downstairs at the casino hotel that we were staying in, and gone down to the sports book, placed a bet on the Raiders over-under prop for the season, and then got upstairs and the text hit my phone and I went, oh no. All right. Shout out to the Mont Bleu Hotel in South Lake Tahoe. All right. We have the Battle of the Baby Blues. You know what I'm talking about. Your Tennessee Titans trying to sink to the bottom for Cam Ward and Detroit Lions.
I don't know how Rand feels about this. I'm just hoping that it's Cam Ward. I love Cam Ward so much.
Yeah, there are a handful of quarterbacks coming out. Jackson Dart, Carson Beck, Dylan Gabriel, who I'm not. Dylan Gabriel is this year's Will Levis / Justin Herbert to me. I do like Cam Ward. He feels more like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, except a little bit younger. And then you have Quinn Ewers, who is the only 5-star recruit who is coming out in this class. And that is that 25% chance to smash in the NFL. Meanwhile, everybody else is right around 10%. But, that doesn't mean that they won't. So you're a Cam Ward guy. Shedeur Sanders is there as well. I feel like Shedeur Sanders is a little bit more of what the Titans have been going for. Right. Cam Ward is probably
my biggest fear, and I want to love Dion so much, but if the Titans are on that list of teams that he refuses to let his son go to, I'll never be able to cheer for Colorado. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe that off the plate for me, so I don't have to root against Colorado. Because if he does that, I have no choice but to make him my sworn enemy.
Yeah, is he going to meddle? Is he the Jerry Jones?
He 100% said he will meddle if it's a franchise that he does not like, and that would be kind of par for the course. Nah, I don't want my son to play for the Titans.
Well, hopefully he doesn't like the Raiders. All right. Anyway, we have Jalen Duncan, Cedric Gray, and L'Jarius Sneed out for the Titans. That's bad. Will Levis is questionable. Tyjae Spears. This says questionable. I had him as out. I thought he was out. Tavondre Sweat, Jerome Baker, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. are all questionable. For the Lions, not a whole lot. Christian Mahogany is out with an illness. So is Joshua Pascal, but they are relatively healthy injury-wise. Tennessee goes 2-5?
No.
Okay. Fair. Horse's mouth is usually where you want to hear it from. And so Tennessee Titans fan doesn't think they're going to win.
No. I don't want us to win at this point.
Right. As a Raider fan, I agree.
Just let's be honest here. I'm looking for 2025.
Sorry, as a Raider fan, I disagree. I want the Titans to win.
No, y'all already got your 2 wins. Just Let
banked.
me have this. Let me have this.
we don't do so hot with 101s anyway. All right. We got the 4-3 Indianapolis Colts. The surprise of the division going up against the Houston Texans at 5-2. They are in Energy Stadium in Houston, and we got Jannard Avery out for the Colts, Jaylon Carley's as well. DeForest Buckner trying to get back in. He's questionable with an ankle injury. Cameron McGrone is questionable with an elbow injury. For the Texans, Azeez Al-Shaair is out. Jimmy Ward is out. And Henry To'o is questionable. I feel like the Texans are just too strong in this one. And as nice a story as the Colts have been, somehow having 4 wins at this point with, a revolving door at quarterback, I think that Houston's just too strong.
I absolutely agree. I have no reason to tell you that the Colts would be able to win this game. Like, it looks like a mismatch on paper. Anthony Richardson, although this is the one team that he has looked phenomenal against, and this will be his 2 starts so far.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one team that he's looked really, really good against. I mean, I put up like a QB 10 performance in like 15 snaps once. And then this is the one game he finished as a quarterback 1 this year. I can't tell you that they're going to be able to keep up in this game unless you're telling me Jonathan Taylor has like a legacy game.
Yeah, and in one of the leagues that I had Kyler Murray stuck on the bench, I put Anthony Richardson in. So I like what he does against Houston. There's something about what's that?
I'm the opposite. I benched. So I benched Anthony Richardson this week for Tua Tagovailoa.
If I had Tua, then
it's a single quarterback league, and somebody had dropped him, and then I stashed him in my IR spot for this matchup. Once I saw like he's symptom free and he's going to start practicing as soon as he can, I was like, I'm going to take advantage of like one of his 3 nuke games that he's going to have this year.
I love it. All right. Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-5 hosting the Green Bay Packers. Corey Ballantyne, cornerback for the Packers, is questionable. Josh Myers, Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker, Corey Ballantyne is doubtful. Josh Myers, Devontae Wyatt, and Quay Walker are all questionable. For the Jaguars, Travis Etienne is questionable with a hamstring. Cam Robinson has a concussion. He's questionable. Asezi Otemuwo, Mason Smith, Foye Olakun. I like Foyosade. I just call him that. And Andrew Wingard are all questionable. Packers roll again.
Yes. Now, I will say this. Does this not kind of feel like a trap game to you?
It does, just simply because of the kind of game that the Jaguars offense might be able to put together. And like I said, if Foye comes back, he's a force.
Yes, I feel like that is the one thing that nobody's kind of taking into consideration. If he is back, this gives them some sort of an identity. Also, Tyson Campbell is apparently coming back too.
He's not on he doesn't have an injury designation, and that's huge.
Right. So you get 2 of your best players back on defense in a game that you could make ugly with a guy like Tank Bigsby. And this Packers offense has been flying high. Jordan Love has the highest touchdown percentage in the NFL, like 8.3%. Everybody's thinking that they're going to absolutely roll. Like, this feels like such a trap game. But I can't bring myself to say that the Jaguars are going to win this game. I just think they might be able to cover.
Oh, sure. Yeah. The covering is definitely a possibility. We've got
they're at 4. They're getting 4 at home.
I have 4.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't take the money line. I would love to take the points.
Yeah, it's possible. But this Green Bay offense is so good.
They really are. They really are. This is like Jordan Love. The way he's playing is the way people thought CJ Stroud was going to play, and that is, I find that fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean CJ Stroud is what he is. Part of it was he just was able to suppress interceptions last year long enough that his hype like exceeded his talent, and he's come back to earth, and he's a very, very good quarterback. But he's also not immune to making mistakes.
Right.
So we didn't see that for a while, but all right, we got the Dolphins and the Cardinals. For the Cardinals, Roy Lopez, Darius Robinson, and Sean Murphy. I'm bunting. My friend's name is Sean Murphy. This is Sean Murphy Bunting. They are out. Roy Lopez, Darius Robinson, Sean Murphy Bunting out, and Kelvin Beachum is questionable. For the Dolphins, sorry, Zach Sealer, Kader Kuhu, and Storm are out. Storm Duck, elite top 5 name in the NFL.
I was about to say, I was like, man, well, please don't just pass over this. Like, this is an elite name.
Yeah, top 5. Top 5 historically, maybe not. I mean, you got to jump Barkevious Mingo to get in there, but
nobody's jumping Barkevious Mingo on his watch.
Storm Duck is an elite name. He is doubtful. Tua and Tyreek are questionable, but they are more than likely to play. We already talked about this one. Dolphins roll improved to 3-4. Arizona drops to 3-5.
Yes.
All right. We got the Jets traveling to Foxborough, Mass. For the Jets, Elijah Vera Tucker, Lakey Fotu, and Ashton Davis. Shout out California Golden Bears legend Ashton Davis. They are out. Alan Lazard is doubtful. Oh, we hardly knew ye. Tony Adams is doubtful as well. I think he made it to out designation today. Kenny Yaboa is questionable, and Morgan Moses is questionable. Hopefully for the Jets, Morgan Moses can get back in there. I'm like marked safe today from Breece Hall trade offers. I'm just like, no, I don't want to trade Breece Hall. He's about to absolutely destroy the NFL.
Yeah, no, he is an absolute nuke. So yeah, I had a buddy of mine who pulled off a trade for him for like Aaron Jones and something, and I was like, just I don't need to know anything else. The fact that you swapped Breece Hall, like you got into Breece Hall stocks for Aaron Jones, I don't need to know anything else. I don't care who the other player was. It's like
get Morgan Moses back on that offensive line, get Devontae Adams acclimated to the offense, open up that field downfield, and Breece Hall is going to absolutely erupt in the second half of the season. And the offer that came last night was, are you interested in moving Breece Hall? And I was like, not unless the offer is really stupid. Well, and he said, well, I would be sending you Mixon. I was like, all right. All right. It's hard to take other fantasy owners seriously sometimes. Anyway, for the Patriots, Jalen Polk out, Layden Robinson out, Vidarian Lowe, Mike Jordan, Saidi Keon White, Daniel Ekuale, Raekwon McMillan, Sione Takitaki, Jonathan Jones, and Kyle Duggar are all questionable. It's a lot of vowels.
Yeah,
a lot of vowels. Jets are 2-5. They've had a couple of rough weeks. And the Patriots are just bad. Jets roll.
Yep. Jets by 1 million.
$1 million. That's quite the spread.
Yep.
All right. Atlanta Falcons 4-3. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4-3. A battle in the NFC South Division for who reigns supreme. And I don't know if there has been a uniform announcement, but for some reason, the NFL page today has
those creamsicles on there, bud.
They have the Bucks old creamsicle logo here. So that's a game that you want to tune into for some of the best uniforms ever.
Yes.
For the Falcons, linebacker Troy Anderson is out. Justin Simmons is doubtful. Ryan Neusel and Antonio Hamilton are questionable. For the Buccaneers, they are a walking infirmary. Mike Evans is out with his hamstring injury that he aggravated or completely finished off last week. He had been dealing with it, and then on what should have been a touchdown catch and an underdog money for me, he fell down. Greg Gaines is out. Tyke Smith is out with a concussion. Chris Godwin has been placed on injured reserve. He's done for the year with a gruesome ankle break and dislocation. Hopefully he gets back into the NFL. Don't know how he's going to be able to make his cuts. Maybe if he lines up on the right side all the time and just cuts on that right foot, he'll be okay.
Right.
But that left one, I don't know if it's ever going to be okay.
Man, you saw what happened to Alan Hearns after this happened. It was pretty
Yeah.
much just so. But I mean, if there's Chris Godwin has just been a straight up worker, and you saw, him mouth the words "back to work" on the cart. So if there's anyone that can do something like this, I do believe it's him. Even if he just is a power slot from now on,
Right.
I'm rooting for the 99th percentile outcome in terms of his return to play.
And sometimes we tend to forget that, lost in the idea that all of these guys playing in the NFL are human beings and subject to the rules of Earth. They're also superheroes, and they have the forefront of the frontiers of nutrition and injury recovery and all that stuff at their fingertips, and they are only in the NFL because of the work that they've already put in. So to ask them to do 10-25% more to kind of get back and earn their deca millions is not too much of an ask.
Yeah, super sucks because that was the last year of his deal with Tampa Bay as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody will do right by him, and he'll get his next bag.
But with every door that closes, one opens, and now you have Jalen McMillan season.
Mr. McMillions.
My flag plant of the year. All right. Questionable for the Buccaneers: Bucky Irving, Raheem Jarrett, and Payne Durham. Rachaad White in, I don't know if you want to call it garbage time, but they were just messing around, and he messed around and had
a couple of guys messing around.
A smash week last week. Buccaneers at home, I'm taking the Bucks.
I like it. So Kirk Cousins has been number one in interceptable passes at dead last, or 32nd. I don't know if that's dead last according to Player Profiler, in pressured completion percentage, and he's fourth in danger plays. He's got 17. So if somehow the Bucs can get any kind of pressure with Yaya Diaby or Vita Vea up the middle, this could turn into a very ugly Kirk Cousins outdoors performance real fast. I don't think necessarily that's going to happen. I just like the Bucs to win. And I think Rachaad White, with this Chris Godwin injury, could end up being a league winner down the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm. After everybody gave up on him, and I was like, "Don't give up on Rachaad White. He's gonna be the one that emerges." I was kind of upset at Todd Bowles with his little, "We have a 3-headed monster, and so we're gonna play a series for each one and see who." It's Rachaad White, y'all. Stop it. Okay.
Well, Bucky Irving is going to mix in on the early downs, but when they're 2-minute drill, when they're trying to salt the game away, they literally lost a game this year giving the ball to Bucky Irving in clock killing time. So Rachaad White's going to get those high value touches that are probably 2-minute drill in the red zone and passing downs. So
yeah,
hey, everybody loves Bucky White, man. I get it. He's explosive. It's fun. It's fantastic. But real football and the fact that Rachaad White is their best pass catching back, he's going to be the guy that's most viable for fantasy moving forward.
His receiving upside is awesome, and one of the reasons I was so high on him the whole year. Meanwhile, with their defensive profiles, Atlanta suppresses the pass to a certain extent, but they do funnel the run 69%. Nice. And allow more yards per average, more yards on average per game. And then on the flip side, Atlanta, Tampa Bay's defense allows more passing yards, but they do suppress the run a little bit. So it looks like it could be a Rachaad White / Kirk Cousins game script, and that's okay with me. We have the over under sitting right at 46 and a half, and the Falcons are 2.5 point favorites. I'm taking the under and Tampa Bay.
Really? You like the under in this game?
I like the under in this game.
Okay.
I think that the Bucks are going to be able to control the ball, and take time of possession. It's like Kirk Cousins is going to have to throw it, but I don't see a whole lot of scoring on their side.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
But I, have been known to be wrong. Never wrong. Always often wrong. Never not confident. Okay. We have the Philadelphia Eagles going to Cincinnati. 3-4 Bengals, 4-2 Eagles. For the Eagles, Dallas Goedert is out. Calcaterra, baby. Mekhi Becton is out, and Byron Young is out. For the Bengals, T. Higgins, I like to call him Thiggins, is questionable with a quadricep injury. Those aren't fun. You can't even bend your knee. I know, because I had a quadriceps tendon tear, and it was not fun. Philadelphia controls the clock, controls the game. Saquon Barkley Day. Eagles win.
Love the call. Really hoping that at some point the Eagles throw the ball more than 25 times in a game. Just please.
And you were shaking your head when I was calling Grant Calcaterra season.
Oh, yeah. So I guess I have two rules. First rule being never Jerry Jeudy. Second rule being never Grant Calcaterra.
I think you might be out of almost 8 billion people, the only one with a Grant Calcaterra rule.
I like to be unique in the space.
Besides his parents. If everything went well for me, it would be Johnny Wilson time. But
yes, now that is a movement that I can support. Like we Johnny Wilson, 6'6", 230, like probably should have moved to tight end, chose not to. Can we find some targets for the guy who's 6'6" with a 40-inch vertical, please?
What is a tight end anymore, really?
Well, it's a guy between 6'3" and 6'6", and between 230 and 250 pounds.
Large slot receiver. That's what Johnny Wilson is. All right, we have the unfortunate New Orleans Saints traveling to sunny Los Angeles. 2-5 Saints against the 3-3 Chargers. For the Saints, Cedric Wilson is out. Nick Saldiveri is out, and Derek Carr is doubtful. No reason to get him back. Not at 2-5. Spencer Rattler won't do much. And Jamie, did you know tomorrow's National Tight Ends Day? Yeah, because on my Queen's Ransom show with the wonderful Amber over on Fantasy Football Advice Network, we talked about that. So yeah, it's National Brock Bowers Day. Anyway, Brock Bowers, Travis Kelce. Spoiler alert. We'll talk about that in a bit. All right, for the Chargers, Quentin Johnston is doubtful. Darius Davis is doubtful. DJ Chark is questionable, and so is his career. Ladd McConkey is questionable, and so is his upside. Where has he been? Tight end Will Dissly, tight end Hayden Hurst, linebacker Joey Bosa, and Denzel Perryman, Raiders legend, are all questionable.
Yeah, Denzel Perryman once, one of my buddies is a huge Chargers fan, and mailed him, reached out to him on Instagram. Was like, hey man, big fan, been a lifelong Chargers fan. He's like, yeah. He's like, can I send you a jersey and you will sign, autograph it and sign it back? And so he was like, yes. He responded to him on Instagram, said yeah. My buddy sent the jersey. Never heard back from Denzel Perryman.
Yeah. Yeah, my favorite baseball player growing up was Will Clark, and I had 3 cards that were Will Clark cards, and I knew about writing letters and asking for autographs and stuff like that, and I sent him my 3 cards, which are almost impossible to find, or at least they were back then anyway. Now everybody's selling everything they own on eBay. So you can find them now, but I sent them to him. I said, "You're my favorite player. I'm a first baseman too. Here's 3 cards. Can you sign them and send them back?" Never saw him again.
Wow.
So I think a lot of the mail just doesn't get looked at.
Yeah, it really upset me because I was like, that really sucks. Because like,
Yeah, that's terrible. I liked Denzel Perryman until just now.
yeah,
Even after he moved on from the Raiders. But I love me a middle linebacker that is a run stuffer, because
he will knock your block off. I will say that. That's one thing he's great at.
that was my thing. All right, Buffalo Bills 5-2 on the way up at Seattle Seahawks 4-3. They've been struggling. We have Curtis Samuel out for the Bills, Dwayne Carter out, Terrell Bernard out. Those are all 3 very tough outs for the Bills. Darrington Evans doubtful, and so is whether or not you know who Darrington Evans is. I got to bring that one back. For the Seahawks, Abraham Lucas is out. DK Metcalf is doubtful, but unlikely to play. Cameron Young is doubtful as well. George Fant is questionable. Mike Morris, Trey Brown, and Nehemiah Pritchett are all questionable. All right. Buffalo 5-2, Seahawks 4-3. Who you got in this one?
I'm going Seahawks.
You're going Seahawks.
I'm going Seahawks, and the reason that I'm going Seahawks is because the Buffalo Bills have looked pretty atrocious against any team with a winning record this year.
Okay, that's fair.
Granted, the Seahawks haven't looked great against. I mean, they looked like trash at home against the Giants 2 weeks ago, and then they go on the road and win against Atlanta. So I don't know what this team is. I know Geno is dealing. No DK Metcalf most likely will hurt, but he's playing high. He's playing quarterback at such a high level. Like, I'm not sure that it matters. I think this is a big Ken Walker game. I mean, what the Buffalo Bills are allowing on the ground, like, I don't see that stopping, especially at home in an environment where they should be able to run the ball. And then the Seahawks might be able to disrupt what the Bills are so great at doing in terms of their run game. I know they've been kind of a sieve on the ground and a run funnel, but I think this is going to be high scoring. I think that the Seahawks come out on top.
The Bills are a 3-point favorite, I think.
Yes,
on the
it's like 2.5. I thought it was 2.5, 3, somewhere along those lines. I know the Bills were favored, and that kind of struck me, but it's hard to bet against Josh Allen. Even though they're like, especially with no DK Metcalf.
Right. And you have the addition of Amari Cooper to this offense. You have Khalil Shakir, no injury designation. James Cook, no injury designation. Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, no injury designation. So I have a hard time believing in the 12th man this week. I think the Bills squeak it out.
I'm not mad at that. I'm like, I kind of want to go with this as my upset call, but
yeah,
I like this call. I feel way more comfortable with this than I do with the Jaguars upsetting the Packers.
Mine didn't quite work out last week. My New York Giants against the Eagles. Okay. Anyway, again, often wrong, never not confident. So I would take Seahawks with the points in this, just in case. I could see it being a squeaker. Tyler Bass late field goal for the win. But I do think the Buffalo Bills are going to win.
Okay.
All right. 4-2 Bears coming out of nowhere against the ultimate out of nowhere team, the Washington Commanders. For the Bears, Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon are both out. Travis Homer is questionable, and Larry Borom and Jake Martin are as well. For the Commanders, Brandon Coleman is out. Jane Daniels is questionable, but he's a game-time decision as far as whether he's going to play or not. And Dorrance Armstrong is questionable with a rib injury. Bears win.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What does it mean that actually before I ask the question, 2-point favorites on the road.
Mhm.
What will it mean for the Bears in that NFC North division to be 5-2?
I mean, they need to stack these wins up because winter is coming, and they're gonna have to play. They're gonna have to play the Packers. They're gonna have to play the Lions. They're gonna have to play the Vikings. Those are 6 games that if they go 3-3, that's a massive success. So they need to stack up as many wins as possible now. I do think that this game is truly a coin flip if we get Jaden Daniels and he's not as limited by the rib injury at all. But if Jaden Daniels is limited or does not play, I like Caleb to shred in this game.
Yeah, it's this is a marquee matchup. It's the battle of the 1 and 2 in the draft. It's the battle of the sell your soul for a quarterback. It's a battle of like 2 surprise teams. I mean, this is a matchup that everybody should have their eyes on.
That's why they flexed it. They moved Bengals Eagles to 12 o'clock because of this game.
I hadn't heard that. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We have the Carolina Panthers at 1-6 and no hope going against the surprising Denver Broncos at 4-3. For the Panthers, this is just
I know. Let's just
Deontay out.
Let's just get through it.
Thielen out. DJ Wonnum out. Jordan Fuller out. Jamie Robinson out. Nick Scott out. Andy Dalton doubtful. Not likely to play. Bryce Young has been named the starter. Jonathan Brooks is not ready yet. Yosh Nijman is doubtful. Dane Jackson is outful. Tommy Tremble has a back injury. Taylor Moton has an elbow injury. Ashawn Robinson has a knee injury. Jaden Crumedy has an ankle injury. Jadeveon Clowney is still in the NFL. Claudin Cherilus, who's been a surprise at linebacker, he is questionable as well. Josie Jewell and Sam Franklin. There are a walking infirmary, a walking injury ward. And the Broncos, PJ Locke is doubtful. Alex Palchevsky is questionable. They're at home. They're against a terrible Carolina Panthers team. Javonte Williams is the smash play of the week in fantasy. Bo Nix has been trying to put it together. Panthers win.
Oh, huh?
What? It's a trap game, just like the Raiders had to play. And I'm kidding.
I was like, man, look, I love Bryce Young. I have been a Bryce Young apologist since his days at Bama when everybody was like, he's too short, all that other stuff. But what he has put on film as an NFL quarterback is one of the most abominable things that I think I've ever seen before. Broncos if I've got Jets by 1 million, I've got Broncos by 2 million.
There you go. If there was a time for the Raiders to play the Panthers, it would be this week.
They're going to be 5-3 after this. The Broncos are going to be 5-3 after this.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Not something that we expected. Or at least I didn't expect it.
No.
All right. No. And speaking of the Raiders de Las Vegas, they have a tall order this week. The 6-0 Kansas City Chiefs, the last remaining undefeated team in the NFL, is traveling to Vegas. This is a rivalry game. It's a we hate you game. For the Chiefs, Juju is out. Michael Dana is out. For the Raiders, Dylan Parham is out. Jacoby Myers is questionable. Harrison Bryant as well. Tommy Eichenberg, Kanai Mauga. But Mauga and Eichenberg, they haven't been playing. Harrison Bryant is kind of a blow, but hopefully he gets back in there, especially with Michael Mayer on the PUP list. Raiders don't have a chance. Let's face it.
And this is also the first time that you guys will see Patrick Mahomes after those videos from training camp.
Yeah. Yep. Raiders have the third worst running back matchup. Yeah, they have a terrible passing game matchup, especially with Gardner Minshew at the helm and his 4 turnovers in 3 quarters last week. Just an absolutely abysmal performance. The Raiders are the second lowest scoring prop, 15.5 points. The Chiefs are at 25.5 points. A 10-point spread is absolutely ridiculous, especially for a road favorite.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
But I don't think the Raiders keep it that close.
I mean, I don't either, but I just the 10-point road favorite is crazy.
And you know what? Next year, when we have Cam Ward and T. Higgins, we're playoff bound, baby.
You shut your mouth.
I don't even want Cam Ward. I'm a Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers guy. But everybody out there with a voice in Raider Nation is pining for Cam Ward. So I guess he's the belle of the ball.
I thought you guys were going to get Michael Penix, but I had him going 12th. But then the Falcons did the thing. So
I'm glad we didn't. I'm also disappointed that we hired Luke Getsy. But, anyway, moving on to a game that some people care about. The Dallas Cowboys at 3-3 against the San Francisco 49ers at 3-4. Both teams, you could say, are probably the 2 most disappointing teams in the NFL this season so far.
Well, one's due to coaching and one's due to injuries. So,
right, yeah, and good coaching can't overcome injuries, and bad coaching loses even in the wake of no injuries. But the Cowboys do have some injuries. John Stevens Jr. is out. Bet you don't know what position he plays. I'll give you a hint. He's a defensive lineman. No, he's not. He's a tight end. Micah Parsons is out. Jordan Phillips is out. And Deron Bland is out. 2 key pieces of that defense done, or at least not playing this week. Eric Kendricks is questionable, but not expected to play. Nick Vigil is still in the NFL. Kalen Carson is questionable as well. For the 49ers, Juwan Jennings is out. Kevin Givens is out. And Jake Moody. It's hard to lose a kicker. Debo is questionable. He's trying to get back from pneumonia, and he also has a wrist injury. George Kittle is questionable, but he's always questionable, and top 3 tight end. Diamador Lenoir, or Lenoir, I guess, if you're not French. Diamador Lenoir is sick as well, and George Odom, young safety, is out. Questionable as well. As much as it would fill my heart with joy to see the 49ers at 3-5 along with the Raiders after they beat the Chiefs this week. I feel like the Cowboys go on the road and do just enough. Unless you believe in Jordan Mason, Jacob Cowing, and Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle. Maybe the 49ers have enough firepower. The
Cowboys have made they opted out of playing defense for real in 2023 or 2024. So, yeah, no. And Kyle Shanahan is going to, these are the times where Kyle Shanahan's at his best. It's like a regular season game that means nothing. He's going to dial up and have Brock Purdy looking like Joe Montana. Either that or Jordan Mason runs for 175 yards and a score. The Cowboys have this sort of mental block against the 49ers where, like I said, it's the same scenario. I forgot who I mentioned, but Mr. Coach Klein and the green playbook, the green notebook versus Red Bellew, and the 49ers own the Cowboys. They absolutely own the Cowboys. Going back to that 2021 playoff game, and you can go back even further if you want. Since Kyle Shanahan's been there, they have punished the Cowboys. I don't see this as being any different.
And the Cowboys, or the 49ers, have a bit above average pass defense. They're exactly average against the run, and the Dallas defense is a little bit below average on both sides of the ball. San Francisco's 4-point home favorites. this is a meteor game for me. I hope both teams find a way to lose, but yeah, 49ers in this one. And then we have Monday Night Football. The New York Giants at 2-5 going against the Pittsburgh Steelers 5-2. Like, what is this world even? For the Giants, Ty Summers is out. Adoree Jackson is out. Jamie Gillen is out. Cordell Flott is doubtful. And Jermaine Illuminor, Raiders legend, is questionable. Trey Hawkins III, another Cal great. I think. No, that's Jalen Hawkins. Never mind. I don't know who Trey Hawkins III is. Never seen his name before. Must be really good. He is questionable. For the Steelers, Roman Wilson is out. Dylan Cook is out. Zach Frazier is out. Nick Herbig, one of my highest owned IDP linebackers, is out. Tyler Matakevich is out. And Cordero Patterson is doubtful. Steelers roll. Unless somehow Malik and DJ decide to, put up 28, 35 points together. I think the Steelers control this one and eke out the win on Monday Night Football. It's probably not going to be. We've had some really good primetime games.
This is not going to be one of them.
I don't think this is going to be a good one.
Let me ask you this: asking for a friend, just what do you think George Pickens does this week? Asking for a friend.
Same. The dude is a contested catch monster, and Russell Wilson has a propensity to just like close his eyes, chuck the ball, and pray down the field. And if there's anybody who is going to rescue Russell Wilson, on any play, it's going to be George Pickens. I think he has a pretty good game. Let's dive into this matchup for a second. The New York Giants give up 16.4 points per game against outside wide receivers. They are.
Let's see.
Sorry for the dead air.
I also as well I could contribute to not dead air, but I was opening up PFF so I could
they 18 points per game in fantasy, according to the football database. And then as far as yardage goes, they are.
Let's see here.
Oh, they stuffed the run, top 5 against the run, and they're about average against the pass. I don't think they have any defense against George Pickens, especially if Najee Harris is controlling the ball on the ground, and then they open up some play action deep shots with Russell Wilson. I think I can see 100 total yards and a touchdown for Pickens.
So tell me how you feel about this statement, and we don't have to stay with this game too long because it just makes me mad that this is a primetime game. But George, there's like one skill, so George Pickens is probably an average receiver at just about everything else that comes to playing receiver, but there's one skill that he is unquestionably the best at in the NFL, and it is on footballs thrown more than 15 yards outside the numbers. Like, that's historically, that's like one of the lowest percentage throws a quarterback can make. And his catch rate on those has got to be above like 60% for his career.
Right.
Like it enamored me. And like, I'm coming to the realization that like, he's probably just not very good at the other stuff. But that one thing is like, this guy averages like 17 yards a catch, but it's never like super duper deep bombs. It's slants and then just him along the sidelines.
Yeah, he's a boundary god. But then on the other hand, we've also seen him take slants to the house. Like, right. If you get him in space, he's a good yak guy. It just depends on how they're deploying him. But outside the numbers, like he's an absolute beast. So if they keep him there, Russell Wilson, chuck the ball up, hope he comes down with it, and he's gonna do it. Like he's just that guy, and he's always been like that.
Right. It's just like I said, he's one of my favorite players. I don't know if on the website, the player profiler website, they allowed me to have him as my guy, but yeah, I have been enamored with him since the preseason of his rookie year. I was out at first because I was like, they've got Deontay, but I was like, I saw what he was doing in the preseason. I was like, this, if they can get some sort of competent quarterback play, the things that he is doing, most people cannot do.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that's he is awesome. Let's I'm just gonna take a quick look. My guys are Jared Goff, Jaden Reed, and Roshan.
nice.
Let's see, where is they have I don't think they've updated you.
That's fair. All right. Well, yeah, I had to put like 10 of them on there, so I don't know which ones that they picked for me. If they were already, it was like, hey, if it's spoken for, you're gonna have to pick somebody else. So I just gave a list of about 4 players at each position, but George was at the top.
Let's get a. Oh, I was told I could only have 3.
Well, no, like I didn't. Well, so I had to give 4, and they would pick amongst the ones that weren't other people hadn't already claimed.
Got it. Okay. My boy DFK, DSM co-host, he's got 4. AD Mitchell, Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Xavier Worthy.
Oh,
wow. Way to go out on a limb there, DFK. But at least he's got the market cornered on rookie wide receivers. Let's get Bradley on that, and he can go ahead and take care of that staff profile, or just send Matt a quick email and say, hey, I was noticing this is not updated. Anyway, before we get out of here, we have a couple of questions to address. Jamie says, do you think the Panthers can make it past the 50-yard line? Yeah. Roshan is fire. He's my guy, but you can borrow him. I have receipts, bro. And thoughts on team, what to work on. All right, Jay Smells, we got you. Even though this isn't a fantasy show, it's a news show. We'll still take care of you. Love, Neighbors, Metcalf, Olave, Puka, BTJ, Deontay, McBride, Pitts, Hall, Achan, Pollard, Brooks. I feel I need a running back. Achan, Pollard, and Brooks. And no, you don't. Every once in a while, especially on my fantasy shows, I get these, what do you think of my team? And they throw out these like loaded squads, and I'm like,
congrats.
Yeah, I don't know if you're seriously asking or if you just want me or us to go like, wow, that's a great team. That's a great team. You
Excellent job, Smells.
Yeah, great quarterback, fantastic wide receivers, but you've been dealing with injuries. Pollard is good for weeks here and there. Brooks is going to be back. Achan should have everything opened up with Tua back and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle going off, and you have Brees. So I really like the team. McBride and Pitts is fine. If you think that you need a running back, I would say try and see what you can get for. Now, Deontay is hurt right now, and his quarterback situation is kind of up in the air, but he does have the best rest of season matchup schedule in the NFL. I don't know how much that means if you don't have Andy Dalton and an offensive line there, but still, Olave and Carr should be back. Metcalf will be back. Puka's back. I mean, you're doing just fine, buddy.
Yeah.
I say stand pat with that.
Yeah, don't just trade just to trade.
Yeah. And a lot of times especially like at this point in the season, we're essentially halfway done. My phone starts blowing up with sleeper notifications, guys picking up this guy, guys picking up that guy. And it seems like fantasy owners tend, like, yes, you have to you have to be active on the waiver wire and in trades, but not for the sake of doing those things. A lot of times it's better to just stand pat and wait for the guys that you drafted to kind of hit their stride. Like, yeah, beginning of the season, you have Rachaad White dealing with some inefficiency and some injuries, but cream rises to the top, and you see that all over the place. So don't meddle too much, because the guys that you have you're in a great spot. And then finally, and we'll get out of here, Madison or Kincaid this week. I'm going Kincaid. Yeah. I don't think Madison does anything against this Chiefs offense or Chiefs defense. And let me get formal. I gotta throw the data at you. And against tight ends,
the Seahawks have been pretty bad.
Seattle's bottom 4, bottom 5. Oh no, bottom 10. Come on.
Let me see. Seahawks. Yeah, Seahawks are 9th against the tight end. They've allowed 40 catches for 409 yards and 2 touchdowns so far. But that's against, I mean, they haven't played anyone meaningful per se. Like they played, I mean, Kittle had 5 for 58 and 2. They let up 5 for 48 to Theo Johnson. Sam Laporta had 4 for 53. So, I mean, you're in just as good of a spot as any to have success with Dalton Kincaid this week.
Yeah, that was a Sam Laporta spike week, apparently.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going Kincaid. I think the Amari Cooper trade was really the thing that's going to push the Bills forward this season.
I agree. Yes, I agree. They can't win meaningful football games with Keon Coleman as the primary outside option. Goodness gracious. What just happened?
Yeah. It was definitely something that got unlocked. All right. That was a long show. Getting up close on an hour and a half, and but happy to do it. Love talking football, love talking all the matchups, and it's much better than trying to fill half an hour by myself with like, oh, what should I talk about? I don't even know. So yeah, anytime you guys want to hang out for hour and a half, hour on Fridays or Saturdays, typically Fridays. But
Fridays, it's gonna be Fridays. The last 2 weeks have been on me. We're gonna be back to our normally scheduled programming after this week. I said that last week, but I mean it this time.
Well, to borrow from probably the most underrated and underseen Will Smith movie of all time, you never know where the week takes you. If you haven't seen the movie Where the Day Takes You, it was one of Will Smith's first. He plays a homeless kid in a wheelchair. It's phenomenal. All right, we're gonna get out of here. You guys have look it up, Where the Day Takes You. It's super good. We're gonna get out of here. Have a great week 8. I hope all your underdog props hit. I hope all your bets hit. If you are, that type of guy, and go ahead and go download Fast Draft. Follow us on Profiler_NFL on Twitter. Player Profiler News on YouTube. I'm at Big Boned FFB. He's Chev at Chev90. You can find all of our stuff, including our fantasy content, when you go to our Twitter pages and everything. Our news archive is playerprofiler.com/news. And we hope you all have a great weekend of football in store. Anything to say?
Straight fundamentals, no funny business.
Oh, I'm all in on shenanigans. I love funny business. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Oh, wait, I got to play that.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.